expensive, heavy, complicated, intimidating, and inaccessible. For a lot of years, these have been the terms that have defined large format photography for an awful lot of people, potentially keeping them from a photographic medium that they would have really enjoyed otherwise. A couple of years ago, Intrepid decided to change all of that by launching their new ultra lightweight, simple 4x5 field camera on Kickstarter. The campaign was an amazing success, and they couldn't possibly build the cameras fast enough, and they decided about a year after that to build a second generation, which smoothed out a lot of the kinks of the first one and just improved the camera overall. I've been using both of those cameras ever since the beginning when they first came out, and then Intrepid reached out to me and asked if I'd be interested in helping them prototype and field test a new 8x10 camera. Of course, I said yes, because who wouldn't want the opportunity to test and develop a camera that they use in their actual work for their photography. So I've put more sheets of film through this camera than anyone else, simply by virtue of having had it a lot longer. I've taken the camera all over the Eastern Sierra, Death Valley, and Zion National Park on multi-day backpacking trips and all kinds of complicated technical hikes to remote locations. The camera has survived being blown over in intense wind, being crammed in a backpack full of other gear, and trekked over mountains and through deserts. I've put countless sheets of film through it and made a huge collection of images, some of which were used in the Intrepid launch campaign on Kickstarter for the 8x10 and also featured in the British Journal of Photography. The cameras are still holding up today and remain my primary tools for image making in my photographic work. While I did receive the cameras and some film in exchange for my help in testing and developing the camera, the team at Intrepid had no input or even knowledge of my making this video, and these are entirely my own thoughts on the camera. I just wanted to share them with you. So with that, let's take a look at the Intrepid 8x10 field camera. The Intrepid 8x10 is the lightest and most compact 8x10 field camera ever made. At a shockingly light 4.7 pounds, it measures just 11.6 inches or 295 millimeters square. The camera is made using furniture-grade birch and bamboo plywood in combination with aluminum and 3D printed components. It accepts any standard SINAR lens board on the market. I like to use LINHOF adapter boards, as this allows the camera to share the common LINHOF lens board format used by the Intrepid 4x5 and other 4x5 field cameras. Focus is achieved by mounting the front standard on one of the 5 mounting points on the focus bed, and then adjusting the focal point using the knob on the right. Once focus is achieved, lock it with the left knob. 3D printed rails ease friction. The bottom of the camera features a laser engraved Intrepid logo and an aluminum plate with 1/8 and 1/4 inch holes, allowing for a variety of tripod mounting options. Here I'm using an Arca plate by 3-Legged Thing. A larger plate, such as a Kessler XL, would provide even more stability. The large cutouts in the base of the camera serve to keep weight to a minimum. The front standard features 70mm of rise, 60mm of fall, and 60mm of shift. It can tilt and swing 50 degrees in either direction. A diagonally sliding locking plate holds lens boards firmly in place. The rear standard utilizes a base tilt of 90 degrees forward and 35 degrees backward. It can be locked to a 90-degree neutral vertical position using the zero intents in its aluminum diagonal bracing arms. The rear standard is secured by 4 locking screws, 2 on either side. You'll also notice the dual spirit levels on the rear standard. When it's time for an exposure, the camera accepts any available standard 8x10 film or wet plate holders. The film holder is inserted in front of the ground glass, snapping firmly into a grooved slot and held by durable marine-grade shock cord originally created for use on ocean vessels. When it's time to fold up the camera, the front standard mounting screw comes out and is stored in the middle of the 5 mounting points on the focus bed. This is also a good time to note the waterproof bellows in navy blue on this camera, which, like the rest of the camera, is handmade in Brighton in the UK. After folding, the camera is secured for transport by tightening down the 4 locking knobs on each corner. The hand-sanded ground glass is reasonably bright, though like any view camera it can benefit from the addition of a Fresnel screen under the mounting clamps to even out the light a bit. It also features a 1/2 inch grid. To change the orientation of a composition, you simply loosen the 2 secured thumb screws on either side of the rear standard and pop the ground glass off, rotating it 90 degrees. It snaps easily back into place, aided by the clever use of magnets. In conclusion, I've really enjoyed using this camera. Like any camera, it's an exercise in compromises. I think the team at Intrepid did a good job of balancing low cost, lightweight, simplicity, and compact size, while still providing an excellent feature set. I've made countless images with mine and plan to make many more in the future. You thought the review was over, didn't you? We just got to the best part. This is my favorite part of the review, the sample images. Let's take a look. In classic analog style, I'll begin with some wet darkroom contact prints. These are Break on the left and Serpentine on the right, both on Ilford multigrade RC paper. These are Continental on the right and Barrier on the left, both printed using a No. 5 Ilford contrast filter. Here you see Vortex on the left and Vascular on the right. Both are examples of dodging and burning in the darkroom to maximize dynamic range. ECHELON is one of my favorite images. It was pushed one stop in development after exposure on Ilford Delta 100. These are Eclipse on the left and Break on the right, printed here as inkjet archival fine art prints at 720 dpi. This is Terminus, captured in Joshua Tree National Park on Arista EDU Ultra 100 film. This is an 11 by 14 inch print of Break on Red River Palo Duro soft gloss rag. I work hard to make my prints both extremely high quality and extremely affordable on my website. Let's zoom out for a minute and look at this 16 by 20 light jet print of Crimson from Kodak Ektar 100 in Zion National Park. When we punch in, we can see that there is a tremendous amount of detail visible from a camera 2 feet up. Imagine how much more you'd see through a loupe. The amazing thing is, these prints were made from a 186 megapixel file. These negatives can be scanned to 710 megapixels. So that's my brief review and sample images of the Intrepid 8x10 view camera. If you enjoyed the review, check out my friend Ben's overview of the camera here, or an exposure video that I made in the field with this camera here. Be sure to like and subscribe to this video, as I'll be posting a lot of future content as well on this channel. Until next time, stay curious.